All right, the 2024 presidential election is coming up, and let me tell you all what that means for you and I, the investor. There's a thing I talk about all the time on this channel called consumer sentiment. And consumer sentiment is basically how the average investor feels about the stock market or a particular stock or something that will affect the stock market or a particular stock. What I know is that consumer sentiment 100% drives the market. How do I know this? Derek, what is an example? Alibaba is one of the most profitable companies in the entire world, okay, with a technical analysis rap sheet that lights up like Christmas when you look at it. It is basically like the Chinese Amazon at this point, and we all know how our economy feels about Amazon. Yet, when you look at the last 5-year performance of Alibaba, it is down nearly 40%. Now, why is that? If the company's earnings, revenue, and free cash flow are all posting amazing numbers, then what could possibly be the problem? After all, at one point, this stock was $300 a share. Well, just take a look at the media landscape surrounding the Chinese and you'll get your answer. That's consumer sentiment. What Wall Street understands is that people buy and sell stocks based on the news, based on the media, and based on the perception of what's hot, what's popular, and what's affordable, which usually dictates how the majority feels about an asset in the market. But let me say this. It's good to understand the technicals. It's awesome to know how to analyze data and read a 10K. All those things are great, right? It's beneficial to understand how to listen to earnings calls and translate that data and information from those calls into your investing strategy. But none of those things are what drives the markets in the end, right? None of those things alone, I should say, are going to be the cause of a stock going crazy in the market. The people investing into it, the ones with the money, the media hype surrounding it, whether good or bad, is what sways investors' pocketbooks. It sways investor dollars. The fear of missing out also sways investor dollars. These are all exponentially more impactful on a stock's performance in the grand scheme of things. What typically happens is, say a hedge fund or a big multi-million-dollar investor sees the earnings from NVIDIA, right? They analyze the data and everything about the company's fundamentals says that over the course of the next 20 years, NVIDIA is going to go crazy as a major contributor to the tech space. Well, now big money is about to start putting their dollars behind NVIDIA. And what happens from there is a trickle-down effect, right? Big money moves on NVIDIA, which catches the attention of every finance creator, finance blog, and stock news outlet, which then catches the eye of who? All of the Reddit forums, including you and I, the little guys, right? There's a reason why stocks come and go on your favorite finance channels. It's because a lot of the various stocks' popularity changes with the seasons. And whatever is perceived by the market to be the hot play usually skyrockets. And after a little while, it becomes overvalued. And so when it's hot, they're all going to push those stocks onto you all. They're going to tell you all about why you should buy this stock and why you should buy that stock. But what about us long-term dividend investors? What about those of us who are less interested in the hot plays? What about the quote-unquote plays that will sustain us through any season of the market while still providing us with that passive income that we love and that we're looking for? Ladies and gentlemen, that is where waste management comes in. Ticker symbol WM. We are talking about a company that is so essential that if they disappeared off the map tomorrow, the American economy will be in shambles in that particular area of the world. Somebody else would have to undertake that, which is no small task. Through all of the changes here in our country, Through all of the different eras of technology, has there ever not been a need for trash and waste removal? Ever? No. Have you ever heard of any presidential party, whether Democratic or Republican, ever once tried to eliminate our trash and waste disposal systems or companies? No. Have you ever heard one person say, hey, we don't need you to come pick up our trash this week. We're going to find a way to dispose of it ourselves? Absolutely not. Whether the economy is doing good, bad, or ugly, or whether it's thriving or in a recession, the one thing that we will always need is someone to take out the trash. The list of top disposal companies are as follows, in no particular order: Clean Harbors, Waste Connections, Republic Services, Waste Management, and Stericycle. And of those top 5 companies, can you take an educated guess at which one of those is at the top of the food chain? You already know. That's why you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't get more essential than waste management. So let's take a look at the performance charts and dividends a bit closer, shall we? Now, for clarity, all of those other companies that I have named in the top 5 list are all currently on the NICE. All right. They are all currently on the New York Stock Exchange. You could go right now and put in an order to buy a share of any of these companies. Okay. But my question to you is, why would you not want the number one option? Right. It's kind of like purchasing Home Depot and Lowe's stock. Well, why would you not want to go with Home Depot, who is the number one home improvement company in the entire US of A? It's good to have both if you wanted to, right? But you're not going to ignore the one who's number one, right? You're not going to ignore McDonald's in favor of Taco Bell, right? Now, the only reason, let me preface this, the only reason you might do that is because you see a bigger opportunity and growth, right? And stock appreciation over the course of the next 10 to 20 years. But that's for growth investors, okay? And if that's your style, then by all means, hey, don't listen to some guy here on YouTube, right? But I'm telling you, I'm here. I want the dividends, and I want to be with the number one proven winner that has a history of performance across the stock market. That's who I want to roll with. Why? Because I'm comfortable right there in that pocket. I want 2 things. I want my dividends, and I want my dividends to increase. I want my dividends stable, and I want a company that is not only doing well now, but is projected to do well in the future and has performed excellently in the past. So again, let's take a look at Waste Management here. Got it pulled up. Stockanalysis.com, absolutely free website. This is not an ad. Waste Management is currently $211 per share. $211 per share. Now, you click on the max chart, it's up over 1,100%, y'all. Over 1,100% since they IPO'd, which I think according to this chart is back in 1991. Last 5 years, they're up 80%, nearly 100%. If you invested 5 years ago, you would have nearly doubled the money of whatever it was that you invested 5 years ago. Okay. On the 1-year chart, they're up 35%. Listen, I started a Cash App challenge for those of you who were following me on my other channel, where I was going over, at the time, I was going over recession-proof plays. Waste Management made the list, and I invested $5 for every day of the month, for that particular month, into Waste Management. And currently, I am up, I think, maybe 20%. Currently, I'm up. Matter of fact, we're going to pull it up right now. I have $141 invested, and I have gained $40.38. That is a total gain of nearly 30%, you all. And again, this is from me, a challenge that I did back on my other channel, where I did a play of the month, right? A stock of the month. And at the time we were going through recession-proof plays. And I invested $5 every single day of that month into Waste Management. And again, that yielded me nearly 30% in just this company alone. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. All right. I'm not bragging, but I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and here's proof of it, right? I'm about showing receipts. I don't just talk about it. I'm going to show you. Listen, I'm not talking about anything that I haven't invested in, all right? And I want to show you that right here. I've invested in this company, and here, let me see if I can go into any dividends that I've received. The last dividend I received was 61 cents. Yes, it's not a ton of dividends, right? It's not a ton of dividends, but it's something. And again, Waste Management is a company that I would invest into every single day if I had the funds to do so. Now, I periodically am probably going to start back investing into Waste Management again, because I believe at $211 per share, this company is still quite undervalued, right? But let's get into it. Let's look at the forecast, okay? Let's look at the forecast of this. Out of 18 analysts with a 12-month price forecast for Waste Management stock, they have an average target of 219, okay, with a low estimate of 175 and a high estimate of 256. The average target predicts an increase of 3.47% from the current stock price of 211. And right now they're saying that they believe Waste Management is a buy, okay? Now remember, these analysts are no one special. I have to say that on every single episode because I want you all to understand that these analysts are just normal people like you and I with opinions, okay? And we are trusting that they've done the analysis and the research on these stocks to give a educated guess on what they predict this stock will do and how it will perform in the future. But listen, this stock, I have no problem investing in Waste Management at $211 per share. Again, I believe that it is still quite undervalued. Let's go over to dividends before we get up out of here. I don't want to make this video too long. The dividend yield is 1.42%. That's not a lot. That's not crazy, right? But listen, what you're giving up in dividend yield, this isn't one of your high dividend yield plays. This is for, again, recession-proof stocks that you can make the backbone of your dividend portfolio, right? It means that you're not jumping into a play. This isn't something where you're looking at charts go up and down, up and down, up and down. This isn't a crazy risk play. This is a stability play, all right? I need you all to understand that. This is a stability play over the course of the next 20 to 30 years. This is the one that you put in your portfolio, you buy it and you don't sell. And it's going to continue to increase in value, and hopefully it's going to continue to increase in dividend yield, right? But we drop down to here. Waste Management is an annual dividend of $3 per share with a yield of 1.42%. The dividend is paid every 3 months. So that is a quarterly dividend, right? Quarterly dividends. So you drop down here, you can see the dividend history right here. It has done nothing but increase. Drop down to the dividend chart, you see that beautiful uptrend right there. That's what you want to see. That beautiful uptrend. Beautiful, right? And hopefully, God willing, this continues on that path and journey to continue to increase over the next 20 to 30 years. Again, do you see us not ever needing waste removal? Absolutely not. This is an essential part of our economy, y'all. Right? So listen, this is a quick play. Again, I don't want to be here all day. I don't want to bore y'all. Waste Management, check into it yourself. See if it's something that's worth your money and investing into. I absolutely will continue to add to my position in this company because I believe in it. And hopefully you've learned something here. Hit a like and subscribe on the way out the door, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.